Hey, this is the 2026 Santa Barbara to King Harbor online competitor briefing. We're going to be doing an in-person briefing on the beach on Thursday. That's tomorrow, July 23rd at 5 o'clock p.m. But this is so that you kind of know some stuff before you arrive that's pretty pertinent, especially to Santa Barbara Harbor, the docking and rules as such that goes through that. So, with that, I'm going to quickly go through a few things. Number one, if you haven't seen it yet, here's our event page, and this is sbyc.org/sb-kh. And while we're here, I'm going to go ahead and you can see there's the new tracker up, et cetera, and all the documents. But while I'm here, I want to thank all of our sponsors, including Solutions, the SB Chandlery, Nouse Yachts, Merle Yachts, Seacoast Yachts, G2 Vineyards, DDSMatch.com, Remote Medical, Allman Sales, and Harbor Marine Works. And a special thanks to Scott Hazeman, who rounded up a lot of those folks. And we've got a lot of new sponsors this year. Thank you so much to our sponsors. Truly, truly appreciate it. You can check out their linked here. We'll be seeing them, their links and their logos be going on the Yellow Brick Tracker as well. So hopefully, everybody can kind of check those companies out. Okay, so here we are on the event page. You can see a lot of things have been uploaded, including the sailing instructions, attachment A, start schedule, attachment B, cruising log, and some other attachments that are pretty important that we're going to go over real quick. Before I do that, I do want to just let you know that for those boats that are in town tonight, Wet Wednesday is this evening starting at 4:45. You can register for that, or certainly just hit me up if you want. You just kind of go to our racing calendar and scroll down to March, you'll see Wet Wednesday, and there's, you can register right here and just sign up for, there's a free option for it. So if you're interested in Wet Wednesdays, you can certainly sign up for that. If not, no worries. It's just something you can do if you happen to be in town. Want to talk about trackers real quick. Here's our yellow brick tracker for this year's 2026 race. A couple of notes since we're here on this course. The start line has been moved out a little bit further offshore due to some comments saying we're kind of close to shore, and the finish line has been moved offshore as well. So you can see it's quite different. You used to finish in here, and now we're going to be finishing out here between some virtual marks. The description of all of that, of course, is in the sailing instructions, and you can kind of go through the SIs and check that. I believe it's in SI. Here we are, number 13. So it kind of gives descriptions, as far as there will be a spar buoy Y with light in the vicinity. Important note on that, these is a virtual finish line. There's two virtual marks. There is a buoy nearby those marks. It's going to be in the middle-ish of the finish line. But that is not the finish line. It's just a marker to say, hey, the finish line's right around here. So you want to make sure you program those waypoints in appropriately for the finish. Okay. And then, of course, there's finish details as well. If you can see here, finish detail and a start detail. So I'm kind of getting off track here. Trackers will be available for pickup starting tomorrow for check-in. For those who haven't seen them before, you have your yellow brick tracker or your YB tracker, I guess they call themselves now. And we'll have them all turned on at check-in. And if you're in the harbor, to turn them on, you do these two side buttons and then up, and that turns it on. And then we're just going to have you put it on your boat outside and leave it on. If for some reason you're not going to put it outside and leave it on, if you're going to take it inside the boat or into your hotel room, you have to turn it off because it'll start going crazy trying to find the sky and pinging, and it'll drain your battery. So we have had that happen before. So to deactivate it, you press down, and then you just press, you press the middle button here and then down, down, down until you get to deactivation. Click it. Okay. Are you sure? Okay. Yeah, that's it. And it just turned off. So we can obviously go through that with you at the check-in if you want, but that's how the yellow brick trackers work. We'll have zip ties, et cetera, for you, so you can zip tie it on, et cetera. When you get to King Harbor, you can drop them off in the harbor right there on the spot, and there will be people ready to take them and sign them out. That's probably the easiest way. Or if you're just gonna, finish and immediately you don't want to go into the harbor, you're gonna turn and burn, then that's fine. But you got to come drop that tracker off, or you got to have to ship it to King Harbor Yacht Club. So there are instructions on how to do that in the SIs. Let's see, where is that? Trackers is number 8. Okay, so you can kind of see here's all the shipping information. You have to have them back by Thursday, July 30th. Okay, moving on. Docking. I just want to kind of remind you about docking procedures in Notice of Race 8. So here it is right here. There's a main arrival window and there's an early or late arrival window. So the main arrival window is really kind of tomorrow. We have like a whole docking crew. We got Youth Foundation kids running around helping boats get docked. That's like 90% of the boats. In that situation, you can check in with the SBYC Docking Committee on VHF Channel 78. And then boats will be asked to proceed to the accommodation dock to get a die tab. And then you're going to want to call back to the SBYC Docking Committee on 78 to get your assigned slip. Last year, there was a bit of confusion. The folks on the Harbor Patrol really wanted to tell everybody where to go. The problem with that is if they do that again, just say, okay, thank you very much, and then call Santa Barbara Yacht Club's Docking Committee so that you can get the final destination, because we do move boats around the day of if they make rafting assignments that maybe don't make as much sense for the size or types of boats. So please do call back for your assignment. Don't just automatically take the Harbor Patrol's assignment as gospel. And I know that sounds crazy. That's not normally the case. So the time when it is gospel would be as if you're arriving today or you're arriving like after everybody's sort of gone home. So if you're arriving like 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow night, then you'd be working with the Harbor Patrol and they're going to tell you where to go. Okay. As far as slip requests before time, we can't tell you that. You got to, get it when you get here. And that's just how it works because we don't know. Sometimes we move people around and we don't want them going directly to their slips. Please do not lay electrical cables across the docks or plug into receptacles that are not for that slip specifically. And so that means that if you're on a walkway, then you're not going to have power. And that's a possibility you just have to be prepared for. You might not have power. There's free bilge and sewage pump out. Marina gate cards. If you have a Marina gate card from previous years, bring it with you. You can reactivate it for free, or you can buy one at the Harbor Department. And so for those who are wondering where is the Harbor Department, most boats will be in Marina 1. And then the yacht club's right here. So here's the walkway to Marina 1. Here's the yacht club. And right next door, there's some stairs to walk up here and you can get your Marina cards right there. Alcohol is confined to Marina 1, meaning you can have open containers in Marina 1. But when you exit Marina 1 at this gate, up until the yacht club gate, you're not supposed to have alcohol here. The hard rule is you pass the yacht club and go past the Harbor Patrol there, then you're definitely going to get in trouble. Okay, so like if somebody accidentally walks up here and here, there might be some forgiveness, but the rule is there's no alcohol on this public walkway until the Marina 1 gate or the yacht club gate. So don't bring your alcohol. Definitely don't go that way with it. Don't go past the Harbor Patrol. So restrooms and showers. Each of these buildings, sorry, is that it? Yeah, this is the building right here. It's got Marina 1 restrooms and showers, as does this one down here. And you can enter those via the Marina 1 gate keys that you, again, can get from the Harbor Department. They will also unlock those. If I recall correctly, I believe they unlock them, I think it's noon to noon, Thursday to Friday. So I'm pretty sure that these all just remain unlocked, but I'm not positive on that. Just so as a heads up that I do believe it's noon to noon. It might be like 8 a.m. to noon, but that's the situation with that. Ice will be available the morning of. This is pretty important because people just don't know it's here each year. So there's ice out here in a big bin that you can grab. We have ice in an ice machine up here, but feel free to empty this big giant bin of ice we get for you guys out right here. Obviously, if that runs out, there's ice at the yacht club. There's also ice for sale at Santa Barbara Harbor Department or not Harbor Department, Santa Barbara Harbor Market right here. But generally speaking, there'll be a big thing of ice there on Friday morning. Please feel free to grab, as much as you need. Please don't grab more than you need. There's always a scarcity mentality. It's like, well, it's free ice. I better grab 18 bags. Grab what you need. It's a 1 day trip. Shouldn't be too bad. All right. So other items, if you are hoisting, our our hoist is right here. And I think that might apply to one boat, right here, hoisting right here. You can hoist in there. And if you need to store your trailer, I think you're going to want to contact and reach out to me, or you can store it over in this harbor launch ramp area here. And to get there, you're going to come in and turn off the main shoreline drive here and take your first left into the Santa Barbara kiosk and head that way. That's also where parking is for everybody else. We don't have parking in our lot. I know it looks like a big lot, but it fills up very quickly. So we do not have parking for Santa Barbara King Harbor participants in this lot, unfortunately. So that is a kind of member-only deal, and it'll be pretty full, trust me. So we have a nice party is planned on the beach right here on Thursday, tomorrow. Starting really it says at 4 o'clock. It will be Palapa will be open. The Palapa bar will be open, and we'll have some music playing and stuff. But we're gonna have a competitor briefing that's gonna start at 5 o'clock, and that'll kick off the beach party. We have a complimentary keg sponsored by Staff Commodore David Tedecki, and very grateful to him. And that's going to be hopefully to get some people out to get the party going, etc. But also we'll have our competitor briefing that time in person. There's a $25 inclusive. That means it includes all the food and tax tip, everything out the door for the Santa Maria Tri-Tip dinner. I believe it's Santa Maria Tri-Tip. Don't quote me on that, but it'll be a great dinner. Trust that. And we'll have a great band playing that night. In the morning, there will be breakfast, burrito or breakfast buffet for $15 inclusive. That means $15 out the door. And that is right here, 7:30 to 10. Okay. When you arrive at King Harbor, they're going to have all kinds of good stuff too. If you look in the sailing instruction packet and you kind of go up, you can see a lot of the facility information that I've described there, as well as the schedule of events and what they're including. See, they've got, it looks like hot dogs, chili pizza, and snacks at KHYC, beer all night on the dock. Well, there it is, people. You're going to want to drop that tracker off and get some beer on the dock, I guess. All right, so speaking of that, I want to kind of touch base on two really important items. One is that in King Harbor, we just added attachment C, King Harbor navigational hazards. They have repair on the break wall occurring currently. So there are some fairly large barges, and you can kind of see in this attachment C exactly where they are and kind of what to expect regarding those. There's also a water polo field over to the right after you enter the harbor. This seems unlikely that our racers would end up over here, but it's just a heads up that is there. So, again, the barge is working on the breakwater in King Harbor is worth looking into. And here is that alert. So if you need help or assistance being escorted into the harbor, there will be escort vessels. You can call on channel 78 for berthing assignments and, of course, for escort vessel assistance. So that's one thing. The other thing that we have going, and hopefully it's not going, I haven't posted this yet. And the reason I haven't posted this yet, this is a naval exclusion zone. It is listed as a backup day right here for hazardous operations. So that zone, what we'll find out is, I guess, tomorrow or Thursday morning, hopefully tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon, by the time the competitor briefing goes, we'll know if this naval exclusion zone exists. And if I'm zooming in on this, hopefully I can, yeah. You can see, once you're around Anacapa, if you were to try to go outside, you would end up in this exclusion zone. So like it would be more like you'd have to kind of turn east and go that direction. So that's pretty critical information. I have not posted this yet. I'm bringing your attention to it here so that you're aware that this is a possibility, is listed as a backup day, not an actual day of exclusion zone necessarily yet. So I will post this if it is going to be an exclusion zone, but I want you to be mentally prepared for it until that time. So obviously at the in-person briefing, I will be giving a further detailed report on this potential naval exclusion zone, which is right here. Okay, what else do we have for you? Um, we'll be talking about the weather forecast on Thursday at the in-person competitor briefing. If you are doing the ORR subclass, it's important that you have your certificate, online at Regatta Man, their official website there, so I can get sure that we have the right rating. And then, of course, we have posted class assignments right here, and we've posted our start schedule. I'd say that attachment A is probably one of the most important, and class assignments. So you can figure out, well, what class am I in? Say I'm Orca and I'm, Chim Chim here. Then I'm going to want to go and I'm going to say, okay, when does Orca start and what side does it start on? So I've got a color coded deal here. Orca is the first start on the starboard line, yellow marks, yellow marks, yellow marks, right? So trying to make it as foolproof as possible with this start schedule. And we got, I think, 90 boats this year, so it should be a great turnout. Lots of boats. We moved our line out a little further, a little more space from shore. So I think feeling pretty good about that. I think that's it. There's also this entries by seal number. If you happen to be on the course and you want to look at it, we'll have printouts of all of this, of course, when you are on at check-in. And for any boats that haven't paid their slip fees or otherwise, we'll collect the rest of that at check-in. The final thing I do want to remind everybody is that, cruising class. For cruising class, this cruising class log will be included in your check-in packet. But if you're missing it, it's here, obviously online. And it's pretty critical that you read this. We did move up the filing time to 1 hour after finish or 3 o'clock p.m. on Saturday, whichever is later. And that was because it's really hard. A lot of people are finished and they don't turn in their documentations. This is the same thing that's true for the sailing instructions, if I can find them. The SIs in SI, it looks like 18 and 19, I believe, is your filing instructions. So yeah, the documentation, who to send it to, when you have to do that. So you got to 1 hour after finishing or by 1500 hours on Saturday, July 25th, whichever is earlier. It's pretty critical that when you do that, you get that information off immediately. I also want to remind everybody that sometimes, Yellow Brick will report a time that's slightly different from what you've reported. Generally speaking, it's pretty darn close. It is the Yellow Brick transponder time we are going to use unless there's like a malfunction in the Yellow Brick tracker. We are following the same disciplines that all the other races do follow. So this is very similar. But it's pretty critical that you do take your time because it is technology. And if we have learned anything, technology is definitely fallible. So please just be aware of that. Make sure you correctly do your documentation. And you can email it to Deborah or text it to her as soon as possible, but no later than 1 hour after finishing or 3 p.m. on Saturday, July 25th. I think that's all I got. They're going to have the awards there. We're looking forward to having our double-handed class subclass. That looks good. The ORR subclass is coming together. So looking forward to a great race. If you have any questions, of course, you can hit me up. My name's Brad Shawpeter. I'll be your starting PRO. And my email is racing@sbyc.org. All right, everybody, safe travels up here. We'll look for you in the next 24 hours, and we're ready to have a great party with you tomorrow night.